Hello, I'm Dale Petrock. This is the second video in which I take my CZ457 MTR out and shoot it with various types of ammo at 100 yards. The difference from this one is that I focused on it in a specific set of conditions that were not ideal. Previously, most of the videos were focusing more on conditions that were closer to ideal for being able to test that. And so I wanted to see the impact of how shifting winds in particular kind of impacted the group sizes, and so that's what this was about. My rig itself is a 457 MTR with a Mueller 40 power scope. It's stock except for a trigger spring in the rifle. I have also added a harder or heavier firing pin spring that's available from CZ because there were some inconsistencies with Eley ammo early on, and the replacement of that firing pin spring seems to have made a big impact. Before I went out, this rifle was cleaned. I cleaned it and had it all ready, so it was ready to rock. The weather that day was 80 degrees. It was pretty much 88 degrees, pretty humid, and the wind was coming from 12 o'clock to 3 o'clock, somewhere between 5 and 15 miles an hour. Additionally, there was a moderate to heavy set of mirage going on, so it was far from an ideal condition to shoot this particular case. And so I wanted again to get a sense of how it compared to previous work done with this rifle and these kinds of ammunition. All the ammunitions were filed in on a separate steel target, and somewhere between 5 and 10 rounds each was used to kind of get a rough center and to get some sense of where the ammo started to group and solidify before I moved into the targets. All the targets were 10-shot groups. You can take a look at the video of those 10-shot groups when they arrive. Up in the upper corner, I will have a table that has group sizes and the dimensions. In this case, I looked at the overall group size, horizontal spread, vertical spread, and how many of the 10 shots would fit under a 1-inch circle. In this particular case, the 1-inch circle is to give you a consistent sense of consistency for how the ammo may have performed, given that the environmental conditions and shooting .22 ammunition at 100 yards frequently results in flyers. And so just to give you a sense of how common that was and how much that kind of played a role. I shot initially with TAC-22, and that's my reference round. I use that in most of my videos to get a sense of where things are, so you have some consistent ammo that you see displayed throughout each of the videos. The first 10-shot target is what you'll see here. It had a spread of, for the overall group, of 2.11 inches. Horizontal spread was 1.19 inches. Vertical was 1.49 inches, with a 5 or 6 of the shots falling within 1 inch of one another. We had 4 groups, 4 down here and 1 up here, 6 up here, sorry, and so that's kind of where that one fell. The second one of the targets using TAC-22 looked like this, and it was less consistent. I'm not sure if that was because of the wind or because of me. What you see here is that it had an overall group size of 1.87, horizontal spread of 1.75, vertical spread of 1.78, with 4 out of 5 being within 1 inch. From that point, I moved into looking at SK Pistol Match Special. Again, these were all fouled in prior to the initial set of targets. The first set of targets, the first target in the SK Pistol Match Special looked like this. The group size overall was 1.79 inches with a horizontal of 1.79 inches and a vertical of 1.40 inches. It had 6 of the 7 or 6 of the 10 that could fall under 1 inch, and it was, as you can see, it's relatively tight. There were, in this particular case, no shots outside of the 9 ring on that target. The second of the Pistol Match Special developed a different pattern. It was very vertically strung. And we see that in this particular case, the overall group size was 1.77 with a horizontal spread of 0.97 inches and a vertical spread of 1.77 inches, with 7 out of the 10 falling within 1 inch of one another. The next ammo type that came up and was tested was Lapua Center X. The first one of those targets had a overall group size of 1.64 with a horizontal spread of 1.64, vertical spread of 1.26, with 8 out of the 10 falling within 1 inch. You'll see that the Lapua Center X tended to be the more consistent of the bunch, and across the process, it will be pretty good. The second Lapua Center X target looks like this, and it had an overall size of 1.72 with a horizontal spread of 1.48 and a vertical spread of 1.48, with 8 of the 10 falling within 1 inch of one another. And what you'll see is consistently that it does the groupings that are fairly tight. In most of the targets, the groups easily stay right around 1 inch for 5 shots. It becomes an issue when you're putting together 10 or larger shot strings that makes a difference. The next ammo that was tested was SK Rifle Match, and the first target you'll see here, it had an overall group size of 2.46 with a horizontal spread of 1.67 and a vertical spread of 2.29, with 6 out of 10 falling in 1 inch of one another. The second group was fairly similar in a lot of ways, with one, this is not a mark, that's just something that appeared on the target. I think it was feedback or shrapnel that nicked the target at some point. The second one of the rifle match was 2.52 overall, 2.52 horizontal, 1.28 vertical, with 6 out of 10 being within 1 inch. Then I decided to test 2 lots of Eley Team. For quite a while this summer, I was not able to get a hold of Lapua Center X, and so I was looking for a substitute, and so Eley Team became the one I went to, and I've got a couple different lots of it that I check out here. Here, the first lot of Eley Team had an overall group size of 2.03 with a horizontal spread of 1.78 and a vertical spread of 1.34, with 5 out of 7 falling within 1 inch. This really looked to be 2 groups, and I'm not sure if I just didn't settle on the rest consistently or if it was something to do with the ammo, but it is atypical of how Eley Team typically kind of performs. This is more consistent with what Eley Team does. Eley Team here in lot 1, target 2 was 1.52 overall with a 1.20 horizontal and 1.51 vertical, with 7 out of 10 falling within 1 inch of one another. The second lot, target 1 of Eley Team, looked like this. The group was 1.56 overall with 1.56 horizontal and 0.88 vertical in this particular case, with 8 out of 10 falling within 1 inch of one another. And the last target with Eley Team looked like this. There were 2 weird flyers from the main group, which is not typical but not unusual either. And the overall group was 2.61 as a result, with 2.0 being the horizontal and 1.77 being the vertical, with 7 out of 10 falling within 1 inch. So as you can see, in this particular case, while certainly Lapua Center X was the more consistent and was in the previous video as well, Eley Team is very close and could function pretty well. The other ammos did not perform as well, so as you can tell from the sites that Lapua site and Eley site team is the third in line of their competition ammo, and Center X is the third in line of Lapua's competition ammo. And so in many ways they perform similarly with my rifle, with Lapua Center X historically being slightly better but not dramatically so. And it could function the rifle could function easily with Eley team as well as Lapua Center X. As always, may all your shooting be X's, and if there's questions, feel free to let me know.